Welcome to Literature Hub 247, where the written word comes alive. Journey with us through the pages of drama, prose, and poetry as we celebrate the beauty and depth of literature in all its forms. This video is about an interesting non-African novel titled Parts of Lucas, written by Susanne Bellefeuille. This novel is in the WAEC 2026 to 2030 syllabus. Earlier on this platform, we have done the chapter by chapter review of this book as well as the themes. We also discussed the characters. We identified the narrative techniques used in this interesting novel. If you need the link to those videos, just make your request to the comment section and it will be sent to you. So this particular video is about the protagonist and the antagonist in part of Lucas. We identify the protagonist and the antagonist. And why are they the protagonists and why the characters or the forces referred to as the antagonists are the antagonists. Let's go into the classroom. The protagonist and the antagonist in part of Lucas. I believe we all know the meaning of protagonist and the antagonist. So we should be able to identify who the protagonist is and who the antagonist is in this novel. Now let's continue. The protagonist of Parts of Lucas, The Journey You Endure by Susanne Bellefeuille, is Lucas Clarkson. Lucas is the most popular character in that novel. Everything that happens in that novel is centered around Lucas. That is one of the reasons why he is identified as the protagonist. Now, why is Lucas the protagonist? Let's explain further. A protagonist is the central character around whom the story revolves. It's usually the person who faces the main conflict and undergoes personal growth or transformation. Lucas fulfills all of these roles. 1. The story follows his life journey. That is, the story follows the life journey of Lucas. Everything is about Lucas in that novel. From the very beginning, the novel centers on Lucas' experiences, his childhood, his dreams, his love story with Isabel, and the hardships he faces in adulthood. The title itself, Part of Lucas, makes it clear this is his journey, that everything is about him. 2. He faces major challenges. Lucas is the one who gives up his dream to support his family. That is, he gave up his dream of becoming a certified mechanic to satisfy his family. Lucas marries Isabel and stands by her despite her mental health struggles. Isabel is suffering from psychotic depression, and Lucas stays with her throughout the problem. Lucas raises 5 children while being a caregiver to his ill wife. He shows emotional resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. These challenges are the core conflict of the story, and how Lucas responds to them is what moves the plot forward. That is, his character moves the plot of the novel forward. 3. He embodies the themes of the book. That is, most of the themes of this book are derived from Lucas. Loyalty, sacrifice, mental health, unconditional love, family commitment. I have a video where I explain all these the themes of Part of Lucas. So you can equally request for the link of the video and it will be sent to you. Just write that and send the themes of Lucas to you, and I will do that. Lucas represents all these values. He chooses love and responsibility over personal ambition, and the fight in a quiet, steadfast way to keep his family together. That is, he sacrifices his personal ambition to satisfy his family. 4. He inspires others. The story is not just about Lucas enduring hardship. It's also about his strength inspiring others. is also about his strength inspiring others. His actions reflect what it means to be compassionate, supportive, and loyal, especially in situations where most people walk away. That makes him both the emotional and moral center of the book. He faced the problem squarely. He refused to run away from his wife when she has a psychotic depression. Now, in summary, Lucas is the protagonist because the entire narrative is built around his choices, his endurance, and his emotional journey. He's not a flashy hero, but a real grounded one, someone who earns respect through love, sacrifice, and unshakable commitment. So, with this, I think you all agree with me that Lucas is the protagonist of part of Lucas. Now, the antagonist. Please, before we go to the antagonist, if you are new on this platform, try and click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so that will be part of this class. And if you have any question or comment, send it to the comment section and it will be attended to. Now, the antagonist. Who is the antagonist? Who do we refer to as antagonist in literature in English? I have a video also for this where I explain the antagonist and protagonist. How do you identify the antagonist and protagonist? I have a video dedicated to that. You can also request for the video. Now, in parts of Lucas, the journey he endured by Susanne Bellefeuille, the narrative does not feature a traditional antagonist. Instead, the story presents various challenges and adversities that the protagonist, Lucas Clarkson, must confront. In that video I made a reference to now, I explained the type of antagonist we have there. We have human antagonists, we have non-human antagonists. So that is what they are referring to here. So in part of Lucas, we have non-human antagonists. Let's continue. The story is rooted in real-life experiences and focuses on emotional endurance, family loyalty, and the power of love. Because of this, the book doesn't follow the typical hero versus villain format. Instead, the antagonistic forces are more abstract and situational, meaning the things Lucas struggles against are lives as reality rather than a specific person bent on opposing him. That is, nobody is confronting Lucas. It's only fighting some problem to solve some problem. So those problems are the antagonist in part of Lucas. 1. Isabel abusive parents. One of the clearest sources of conflict in the novel is Isabel's traumatic childhood. That is, when Isabel was a child, her father was emotionally abusive and her mother physically abusive. Isabel's father he drinks a lot. He drinks a lot, and when he is drunk, Isabel is emotionally abused, and her mother beats her a lot. That's why she's physically abusive by her mother. These experiences hurt Isabel well into adulthood, and a major reason for her psychotic depression later in life. This childhood experience results into psychotic depression later in life, and that is the problem Lucas faced. While her parents aren't present for most of the story, the long-lasting effect of their abuse acts like a shadow over her mental well-being and, by extension, Lucas' life. In this sense, her parents' abuse functions as a psychological antagonist, a lingering destructive force Lucas must fight through love and support. So this is the origin of one of the problem Lucas faced, and also serve as an antagonist in part of Lucas. 2. Mental illness. A central conflict in the story is Isabel's mental illness, which becomes a powerful antagonist in its own right. Lucas must deal with watching the person he loves suffer in a way he can't fully fix. This struggle tests his emotional strength, patience, and commitment. Mental illness in the story is portrayed as a faceless enemy, not evil but still devastating, forcing Lucas to dig deep and endure. You know, there's a time Isabel couldn't recognize anybody, including Lucas, because of the mental illness. So all these are the struggles Lucas faced in part of Lucas. It stands as an antagonist in part of Lucas. 3. Life circumstances and sacrifice. Another source of tension is life itself. The tough choices and sacrifices Lucas must make. For example, he dreams of becoming a mechanic, but he gives that up to take care of the family farm when his father becomes ill. When his father runs into a problem, he becomes ill, he's run into debt. So his father runs to him, and Luca doesn't have any option than to give up his dream of becoming a certified mechanic to satisfy his family. This sacrifice, while noble, is a source of internal conflict. Lucas is constantly pulled between duty and desire. The antagonist here is the life situation that denies him his dreams in the short time. 4. Societal stigma around mental health. The novel also indirectly critiques how society often marginalizes mental illness. Lucas has to navigate a system where understanding and treatment for mental health conditions are limited. The lack of external support becomes another form of antagonism, one that isolates Lucas and Isabel further and makes their journey even more difficult. So it's only Lucas that is running eta-sketa to solve this problem, running to his family, running to his wife. In summary, there is no single villain in part of Lucas. Instead, the antagonists are emotional trauma, mental illness, sacrifice, that is the sacrifice Lucas has to make, and societal challenges. These obstacles don't wear a face or speak lines, but they shape the entire journey. Lucas fights not with fist or anger, but with love, loyalty, and perseverance, which is exactly what makes his story so powerful and relatable. So, we now have the protagonist and the antagonist in part of Lucas. If you have any question or comment, send it to the comment section and to be attended to. Please, to encourage me, like this video, share it on any social media platform. You are free to do that. Invite your friends and colleagues to join us. Let's meet in the next chapter.